Good Saturday morning, everybody! And what a great morning it is! I have taken out my piggy bank and spent it all at the sawmill. All $50 that I had saved up. So now I have quite a bit of wood. As you can see from the background. Now, all I gotta do is wait 6 months to a year for all of it to dry up before I can actually use it. Alright, moving on to what I'm making here. So, this week, I have caught my wife looking at the French rolling pins on Amazon. I was very disappointed. I get it, it was to make pizza faster, but come on. With the haul of lumber I got, I can easily make French rolling pin or 10. So, that is what I set out to do for this video. I have no idea what dimensions are even supposed to be for rolling pin, and all I'm going from is just a brief picture I saw on Amazon when my wife was looking at it. So everything you see me do here is me just eyeballing, without having any idea how French rolling pins even work. But that's the fun of it, much to the horror of my wife. Alright, let's get churning. And as always, step 1 of churning anything, you take a square thing and you make it round. This piece of wood was filthy, and I did get it at a great discount of $5 from Offcut Pile. Thank you, Sid. But I actually realized that I have no idea what kind of wood it is. But doesn't matter. It's gonna be a French rolling pin. So now that it is round, I can try to make a rough shape of the French rolling pin. From what I understand, it is just a cylinder that is thicker in the middle and slightly thinner at the ends. That's exactly what I tried to do here. And by the way, the lathe now finally being fixed, it actually works better than before. This new motor is completely different from the previous one, and a lot more silent too. Not to mention, it seems to maintain speed perfectly. Although it still doesn't make my task any easier. I have tried my best here to make the whole thing as symmetrical as I could. And it seems to have kind of worked out, surprisingly enough. So, since it looked passable enough in my books, I ended up moving on to Sansing, and this is standard procedure for me by now. All I do is I start with the 60 grit and move all the way up to 600 grit. Sometimes I can go up to 1000 even, but for this one I stuck to 600. The new addition of having a big vacuum suck all the sawdust up makes the whole process a lot more enjoyable though, so I do enjoy sanding now. I do understand that using gloves is dangerous, but my hands were way too cold. I could not put on a glove, just because I didn't want the bloody rolling pin due to ripped skin. My hand was way too brittle when it gets too cold. And now that the rolling pin looks symmetrical and is perfectly smooth, I move on to cutting it off the wood. Here is where I make the huge mistakes, and they're just bad. I should have just thinned the ends down as much as I could and then gently finish the job off with the saw. Instead, what do? I rip off the ends and I make it crack. And when I'm sawing the other end, I end up smacking it with the saw as you see here, and now there's a permanent small hole in there. I was a bit overexcited and really should have taken my time instead of wanting to rush off towards my wife to show off what I've made. I do get overexcited about those things. Thankfully, all mistakes can be fixed with a sander, except the small hole from the saw, but I'm okay with that one. So I do sand both ends and take a lot of wood off, but then it does remove and mask the crack pretty well. And now it is completed with only one mistake visible if you look really hard, and that mistake is that, sawtooth hole that I made, and that's it. I did not apply any oil on this thing since my wife is going to use olive oil with it, and that olive oil will now be used with rolling pin always to make delicious pizza for the family. I did get surprised by how balanced the rolling pin ended up being, and it did make my wife happy, so bonus. One thing I still do not know, however, is what kind of wood it is, so if you can ID it, please let me know. It would be really helpful. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun making it and a lot of fun churning at last, and I will see you guys in other videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!